Okay, it's 9 o'clock. We will call the meeting to order. Just a reminder that the meeting is being recorded and to please turn on your mic when you're speaking. The package came out last Thursday. I'm looking for any amendments to the agenda. And see none. Looking for a motion to adopt the agenda. Nicole.
That the August 26, 2025 agenda be adopted and as presented.
All in favor? Motion carried. Okay, today we've got 2 public hearings at 10 a.m. We will follow through with the agenda. First of all, you have to do declaration. Okay, do that first. Okay. Okay, we'll do the declaration of conflict of interest first. Any conflicts? Seeing none. Okay, we have 2 public hearings today at 10 a.m. We'll follow through with the agenda until 10 and then break for the public hearings and then continue on. So we will start with August 12th regular council meeting minutes. Looking for a motion to adopt the minutes. Aaron.
That the minutes of the regular meeting held on August 12, 2025 be approved as circulated and presented.
All in favor? Motion's carried.
I do have a comment.
Oh,
do you mind if I?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to make note of this. We can have a later discussion on this. So in terms of arterial roads, South Plains Road and the service road were 100% paid for by the developer like when they were developed. So just if people were wondering maybe why Mr. Kuzmic was here, they were 100% paid by the developer. So that was one of the reasons he was here. And then also for future discussion, if we could maybe discuss arterial roads and how that works with agreements in the future, we can maybe write that down for a later day. Just because is Hooper Drive, then taking Emerald Park Road to Better Ridge, is that also considered an arterial road because it actually takes a good portion of White City out of Emerald Park. So we could have, if you want to maybe make note of that, so we can have a discussion about that sometime.
Yeah, I'm just going to respond a bit to that. So absolutely, we can have that. And once we are working on our servicing agreement fee policy. So that's where you would see the more regional arterial roads in there as that kind of a project. Local roads, collector roads are generally built and paid for as the development occurs. And there's a classification as to why we do that.
But we can definitely put that on a future agenda for discussion if we feel.
Chat about it or we can have a chat about it. It's just because I'm just bringing it up because I'm not sure if everybody does realize that that developer did 100% pay for those 2 roads. So, yeah.
Okay. August 21st, 2025 special council meeting minutes. Looking for a motion to adopt. Carmen.
That the minutes of the special council meeting held on August 21st, 2025 be approved as circulated and presented.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, Sarah, list of accounts.
So check 5501 to Alpha Fire Consulting. This is a fire capital purchase. Our capital spending for fire is currently at $26,000 of $37,000 budget. This pump was for a regional piece of equipment and was approved by the Protective Services Committee back on June 3rd. In the proposed EFT payment section, we have a payment to B&D Gravel for our 2025 gravel hauling, and this fell within budget of $150,000 for 2025. And then on the Visa payment report, I'll just point out 2 items towards the bottom. So on the office Visa, we have our annual business Prime membership through Amazon. This membership provides faster shipping and discounted prices on many items that we order here at the office. And then on the foreman visa, we have the Sask Water and Wastewater Association membership, and this is an annual membership.
Thank you.
I have a quick
realize
question
my-
for you.
Oh, I didn't realize my mic was still on, but can you just go back there to the list of the credit card piece there? The paint sprayer rental at the bottom there for basically $1,200. Is that something we should be thinking about purchasing given the price tag on that? And maybe that's a question for you, Rod or Clark.
Yeah, Rod can speak to it a little bit more once he's up, but we have one and it was not well maintained the last time it was put away for the winter. And so it was unusable this spring, which is why we had to rent it this year. Yep.
So will we be able to repair it, or is it? No.
Quick question for you. So the nuisance mowing, that all goes back to the property owner? Yeah, okay. just
Yeah,
wanted
in
to make-
accordance with the yard maintenance policy, we charge that back to the landowner.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay,
So in the future, there's going to be some kind of a memorandum or something putting out that sprayer is going to be properly cleaned. I know I've had one myself, and yeah, you got to spend the time on it. And in fact, a lot of the places you take them to repair them, they will not clean them because they're just, it's the onus is on the individual that last used it.
Yeah, it's a training issue. We have manuals. The guys are supposed to read the manuals and maintain and operate the equipment in accordance with those manuals. So every time something like this happens and something breaks down or there's a repair, it's an incident. We follow up with an investigation. It's a learning moment. And yeah, anytime there's someone new on the equipment, we make sure if there's something that's going to wreck that piece of equipment, that it's pointed out.
I just have a question. About the Buckingham $600 that was, but wasn't it supposed to be on hold until did we get all the information from them? We did. Okay.
any more questions on the list of accounts? Looking for a motion.
I'll move that the list of accounts consisting of check 5501 to 5509, other payments number 237 to 247, credit card payments number 21, and proposed EFT payments totaling $266,161.86 plus July 27th to August 9th, 2025 payroll totaling $61,901.67 be approved for payment.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Engineering and Public Works report.
Good morning, Council. So we'll give a brief update on some of the activities. In the rural, we've been underway on our full cut mowing for about a month. So we're 25% complete, about 80 miles. Projecting to have that completed on time. We've done our second application of canola on our canola sites. So those have been regraded and reapplied. And we're looking at doing some refresh on some of our asphalt shingle sites this week and into next week as well, so that those will all be kind of reapplied and reworked over as well. I've been completing pothole repairs, so we've done the Rock Point Access Road, as well as widening some of the intersections in Emerald Park, some of the turning radiuses to help with some of the shoulders along there. Bridlewood paving's underway, expected that to be complete by the end of the week. And then we'll have them move on to some other kind of ancillary work pathways and some other bigger patches that we need them to complete as well. And in the urban shop, we've hired a new lead operator. So Thomas Franz will be starting on September 2nd, right after the long weekend. He, current operator with Town of Pilot Butte, has his level 1 certifications for water treatment and wastewater collection, and has already written his level 2 exams. So still waiting for the results to come back from that. But
That's excellent.
really excited about that hire. Yeah, he has a lot of good experience. Any questions?
I have one on the shingles. That would be on the 624. And will it also be on our local test site as well?
Yeah, on Dave Farden sites on
Dave
the
Farden site.
south subdivision there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And I just had one comment about the mowing. I had a ratepayer reach out to me and just say, whoever's doing the mowing is doing a fantastic job. So it's nice to hear that once in a while. So that was a comment I had last week.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I have just one with the shingles too. Did you get a chance to price it out for that 2-mile stretch? Remember
No,
last-
we haven't gotten pricing for next year for for that as a project yet, but we'll be working with them over the fall here.
Okay,
Yeah.
because it would be I'd like to have it as a alternative, because quite frankly, I think when that pricing comes in for paving, it's going to be out of reach.
Yeah, I think without funding, that project won't go forward if it's upgrading to pavement. I think even some of the other alternatives that we're going to be looking at, like MG30, some of the other oil applications will still be expensive because it will require more base to be applied first, like 4 inches of base. So that will make it more expensive as well. So, but we'll come back with all those kind of alternatives.
Because the crown looks good and everything, and that's making a big difference on the amount of gravel that we've got on there now and stuff. I understand the dust control sites are probably going to be worked up one of these fine days, because they're getting pretty rough and everything.
Yeah, we've been contacting, like we have a list of everywhere where we need to do some blading to the potholes and some of the rough patches. And we've been contacting each one of those people separately to let them know that we're going to be there working, so that they're not surprised that we're blading through.
Yep. One other thing. So on those dust control areas, are you going to be pulling the shoulders on those areas then too?
No, we're going to leave that for later on. And I think we're going to do that first thing in the spring next year. So it's just that we have so much grass, even though we've cut it, it's just whatever. We're going to wait for it to kill over the winter, and then we'll do it first thing in the spring. So,
Because the only thing I'm worried about, because 624 has so many dust control sites, there was quite a few places where it wasn't pulled off the thing. So, as long as it's gonna work okay, it's fine. But if we're gonna do some serious work in there, it's definitely gonna have to be reshaped a little bit more.
yeah, we may have time in October to do it. So we'll see how the summer works out here, the fall does. So we may have time to do it. It depends on the weather and if we get snow in October or what, or we may not get snow until December. So we could even do it in November, actually. So
I noticed that we don't have a number of signs installed yet in August for the rural civic addressing. Can I ask that if you can get a hold of them and find out where they are at the end?
I sent him an email this morning. He installed 31 signs in the month of August. So we're at 100.
And we've got what, 400 left, something like that?
Yeah, 380.
So
Clark and I are going to meet with him. I'm going to call him in for a meeting here. We got to set a plan together. So.
Okay, thank you.
is the goal still to have it completed this year, Rod?
You bet.
I have a quick question for you. Were you able to locate that crushed culvert on Emerald Park Road?
Yes, I was.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. And are you guys able to fix it this year? I'm just worried about, you never know what winter's going to be like, and I do believe it would probably affect the spring.
Yeah, we had some water ponding there this spring. It wasn't too bad. We will get at it later in the year. We'll dig it up and cut the ends off and clean it up, sort of things.
Were you able to locate the one in Woods Crescent that was crushed, or not, in Woods Crescent Park?
Yeah, the culvert in Woods Crescent Park works. We've added some soil in there. So we've got a little bit of cleanup to do there, but we're going to wait till we blow the sprinklers out, sort of thing. So we'll wait till sometime in October and we can fix that area up as well too. It's right. Yeah, just it's not a lot of work, but we can definitely get to it.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have, I guess, a question on that intersection right by the ice house there. There's the stop signs and stuff, and there's another bad accident there. So I'm just wondering if is there any answer to try to fix something there?
Yeah, this one comes up a lot. It's our worst intersection in the RM in terms of number of collisions per year. SGI gives us that data, and it's always the worst one. So this intersection is under the control of the Ministry of Highways. So every year we ask them for an update on what's going on with improvements to that intersection, and it's on their safety improvement program. They don't have a specific date targeted yet for when it would be upgraded, or even what the upgrade is going to be. I know they're looking at things like traffic circles for that intersection. They've come and talked to council in the past and kind of stated they've modeled traffic for signalized intersection there, and it queues traffic up onto the number 1 highway. So that's a non-starter. It's just for right now a bad intersection. We don't have jurisdiction to do any improvements. All we can do is continue to work with highways and push them for a resolution on it. So that's, again, we do have regular meetings with highways, quarterly or every few months. And so we'll be asking again for an update on if there's been any progress for that intersection. But for sure, I understand the question and where it's coming from, because I hadn't heard of the accident, but yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just don't know what to say to anybody when they phone me and tell me about another accident there all the time. So.
I had raised it as well with the Minister of Highways when Stan and I met with Brad and the minister. So they know it's an issue at the ministerial level.
And to Darren's point, Clark, yeah, it was a bad one. They actually had both the roads closed.
More questions for Rod or Clark?
Yeah, I got to go look at it yet, but on the Franks Lake Road, one of the civic addresses had been installed, and the ratepayer is concerned where they put it. I think by the sounds of it, it's very close to the road, and it's they're thinking that the plow is going to take it down and stuff. So I was going to take a look at it and see, and if it's something I can put in service tractor, if it's going to be a problem. But I'll take some pictures of it and see where it goes.
That's strange, isn't it? Because aren't they all the same distance back from the road?
Just another quick question about the Ministry of Highways. Clark, so since I've been on council, they have been here and we have addressed that intersection before when they came to speak to council. Is that something that they come on a regular basis, or did we just bring that up because they were here because of the Pilot Butte highway?
I don't remember, but I think they have come in the past just to present on their 5-year safety program, just to kind of go over the list of important intersections and treatments that they're looking at in the RM and kind of probable timing of things. A lot of our smaller ones, like there's the one on Highway 33, a turning lane that they've said like, yep, it's top of the list now, but we're going to have to wait until there's a paving project in the area before we go ahead with it. So they're all at kind of different levels of ready for construction or ready to be implemented. But yeah, I think once a year to get them in to talk about their safety program and kind of where the progress is on all those projects is something that we should have scheduled in.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, especially like with that intersection over there, because there's a lot of pedestrians over there as well. It just kind of ups the safety concerns. So thanks.
I had another question on our fleet management, that 2012 Cascadia that was sold at McDougall's auction. What is that what we were looking to get for it? Did we have a reserve on it?
No, we didn't put any reserves on any of our equipment when we met with our agent from McDougall's, or their head guy over there. So he came over and said that at that time they never recommend putting reserve on. We did get more money for the last truck. We got about 17,400, I think. So it's a little disappointing that we didn't get as much. But there was also a lot of trucks on the ticket that month as well. So I think that's when I did talk to him, he had said that he had our truck over there about 3 weeks ahead of time, but he said like a week before the sale, they got just an influx of a whole bunch of trucks. So kind of weeded us out a little bit, or maybe took away a sale to another one. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think we were estimating 20. Something
is
like
that
that, Clark, 20,000. So yeah, so we'll be under that. So
Yeah, we'll put together like for the asset management committee, kind of the summary, because we're not done selling everything that we have to sell yet. But we have a spreadsheet that we're updating constantly on, actual purchases, actual disposals, where it all lines up with budget. So we'll be presenting that at the next committee meeting and kind of have an update for council after that.
That would be good information.
Just a quick question. What's the ETA on the cold storage being completed?
electrician's over there right now, so we should be done. We should be done this week, maybe even actually. So or next week. So and after that, we just got to get the door installed. So
Do we have the door?
yeah, it's in the shop. Yeah.
I just know that when we built our shop last year, it was 10 months and we had water in there and no door. So I know there was an issue with doors. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, we will move to planning and development.
Sir, no.
I make a
yeah.
motion that we accept the
Thank you, Tim.
public works report as presented.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All in favor? Okay, Jessica, we'll move on to planning and development. First, we have a delegation. Mr. Carl Koszorki. Yes. Please introduce yourself, Carl, and explain, your reason for your presentation, and you have 10 minutes to present, and then they'll be open for questions.
I guess, she did it for me already. Thank you. Okay, I'm here to talk about my property and my zoning and my development on my property. So basically, I'm here to get my livelihood back that the RM has taken away from me, causing me great financial harm and stress. I believe my losses are probably in excess of $200,000, not including my time. There are several parts to this story. Every time I deal with the RM, the story changes. Evidently, my property was rezoned shopping center without my knowledge or consent. I found this out by accident when I was visiting the RM asking for an access permit. Even the RM people, when I was getting the access permit filled out, they wrote me down as industrial, not shopping center. So they didn't even know. During the meeting with the planning, I was told that I was zoned shopping center. I asked how this could happen without me knowing about it. I was told that I was rezoned shopping center and what was allowed on my property has now been changed. They told me I was notified by a letter that was sent out and I could have come to open house and voiced my opinion. I never received the letter. Anyway, they told me that the south side of South Plains Road was rezoned, meaning every building and business was now affected. I asked why in the world would they rezone all those buildings in an industrial park on an industrial shaped lot, meaning all the owners would have to basically tear down or lose their businesses. I don't care what others want to do with their properties. Let them build, change the zoning. If they figure they can make money out, let them do it. If I thought it was a good idea for me to rezone and I could make money, I would totally have done it myself. They shouldn't have interfered with everybody else's property. That property all the way down that road, there's no sewer, it's a single lane road, there's no shoulder, it's blocked back from the highway, but let them rezone. I don't care, but just leave me alone. the way I look at it, it's basically, you know, you're killing the buffalo, basically, to make me move. I argued with the planning department that I should be grandfathered in to continue the basic building as it has been for the last 45 years, and I still believe that that's the case, as long as the use has not changed. There seems to be a heavy-handedness taken against me and why the other properties that have been rezoned aren't getting the same treatment. I consulted with a real estate expert and lawyers, and they seem to think that I shouldn't have to change. I took experts with me to the planning meetings, and at first I was told I was grandfathered in. The next thing that happened, I was told that my development permit had never been completed, but I would be allowed to operate at a reduced capacity. Then in subsequent meetings, the planning department said they never said that. The next thing, the RM hired a lawyer. They sent me letters telling me I had to shut down my business. As far as I know, I did everything correct. 20 years ago, I presented at council. When all the conditions were met, the planner shook my hand and said I was good to go. For 20 years, I operated my business without one complaint. I'm sure everyone in the RM knows my business. My newest renter moved in over 10 years. For over 35 years, I have a meeting room dedicated for the fire department in my building. Fire training schools, fire training exercises have been done on my property, so it's well known and what I've done on my property. I have the year-end parties for the fire department there, and 300 to 400 people show up. So this happened for 20 years. That the RM has sent out 2 building inspectors. They've taxed me on my business. So if that's not implied consent, that my development permit is accurate, I don't know what is. So moving forward, according to the August 12th RM council meeting that I watched, others are also missing their development permits out of their files. I've already won an appeal with the RM development permit to allow 12 CCANs. I don't think they understood that I had 40 on my property, and now with evidence that others are missing their development permits, I'm sure I'd win that appeal. You know, so here we get to where Shauna suggested that we do a contract zone for my property to solve my issues. The options I see is for me to get my life back is either do this contract zone, grandfather my property, which I kind of think should have been done in the first place, or honor my 20-year development permit that was uncontested for 20 years. So my development permit was either not completed by the planning department, lost, or removed from my file. This has been an extremely heavy-handed attempt to put me out of business. I've done everything correct. And now, if you read according to the Saskatchewan rules around non-conforming uses found in the Planning and Development Act of 2007, section 88 to 92, a use of a building or land that was lawful in existence before a zoning bylaw or amendment came into effect may continue even if the new zoning doesn't allow it. This is what protects your business. Section 92, change of ownership or subdivision. A change of ownership or subdivision does not affect the right not to continue the non-conforming use. Basically, the Saskatchewan Planning Act of 2007 says my existing business stays legal as a non-conforming use. Subdividing does not take away your right to keep operating, but the new lots that are created must follow the new zoning. So, just want to make sure I cover everything here. Just give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
So basically, like, how was I supposed to know that my permit was never approved? So, like, I totally understand, you know, you're trying to help me get with this contract zoning, but before you vote on this and everything, you know, I'd certainly like explanation on how come my zoning, even though the 2007 Act clearly shows that you you can't take this business away from me. It clearly shows that, and that the Business Development Appeal Board fully recognizes my development permit. I just want my life back. I've lost probably 200 grand on this by shutting me down, and I've done nothing wrong. And clearly, looks like everything's on my side here. That's basically all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Carl?
I just would like us to be able to move past this, and personally like to see him to get on with business. I don't like, yeah, that's my own personal feelings on it. Can make the motion.
Can we go ahead? No.
Don't we need to go through the reports here first?
Well,
But you can put the
we
motion
can
on
put the
table
motion on the table to discuss. Yeah.
That bylaw number 2025-15 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2019-20, known as the zoning bylaw by rezoning Lot 1, Parcel 3, Plan 82R 55377, Extension 1 from shopping center to shopping center by contract be given first reading. And further that we authorize the planning development to proceed with the public notification requirements to schedule a public hearing.
Thank you. Discussion? Anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I've got something. I don't know if there's like the last meeting, Alan and Colleen were here and they seem to have the same kind of issues. So I don't know if this is an ongoing thing that's going on with all the rezoning and stuff, but they were pretty disappointed too. So I don't know if all this stuff needs to be relooked at because it seems to be harming a lot of people.
Administration has presented this report as a solution to the problem. So if I think this is really the solution. I can't speak to the Jorgensen file right now.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is he did win an appeals court for 11. So to get him up to 25, 25, I believe, I don't want to see anybody suffer. So I'm all for it.
I do have some questions in terms of, and I believe the city of Regina recently, and I want to say it was in late 2024, early 2025, that they put in place a bylaw around sea cans of certain sizes requiring footings and pilings and whatnot as part of changes to the building code. So I just want to see if we've explored that from a requirement perspective, because in fact, the information here in terms of which document is it here? I think the bylaw one there says something that it shall not be on footings. And I want to make sure we're on side with the building codes. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, my understanding is that the building code comes into play if sea cans are to be used for something other than originally intended, namely storage. So you're seeing people like to use sea cans now structurally for buildings, for sometimes occupancy, sometimes as, like a small little pop-up shop. That's kind of how these sea cans are being repurposed. So my understanding is that the building code applies in those instances where the sea can is to be used outside of its original purpose of just storage. And that's when you would have the structural requirements. In this case, the sea cans are to be used for their original purpose, which is storage. And if that were to change, we would reevaluate the building code conditions.
I had a different interpretation from the city in terms of a different life I have. The other thing I was wondering about is, and I'm trying to remember where I saw this, but something about a development permit being, okay, there it is, under 6.0 supplementary regulations or special provisions. The way I interpret section for is that it almost sounds like every time every time a new CCAN comes on board, there's a new requirement to like a new permit required. And wasn't sure if I misunderstood that, but
Yeah, the intent was for, I believe, for one development permit to apply for only one development permit to be required. Our typical process for CCANs anywhere in the RM is for each CCAN to require a development permit, but recognizing the intent of the site is to have numerous CCANs, we didn't think it was necessary for each CCAN to have its own permit. We worked on the wording of that quite a bit in this, so if it's unclear, but hopefully as a whole, the contract zone makes it clear that only one development permit is required. But if you have a specific section that's confusing, I can hopefully clear it up.
yeah, I'll have to relook at it. It was the way I read it. It seemed like if Carl wanted to add, say, another one, it had to go through the same or similar process. So I'll look back and just look at my wording that I was concerned about.
I guess I have a question as well. This says a maximum of 45 sea containers are permitted on site at any one time. 25 are stationary, 20 are mobile. So conceivably, could there be 45 on site at once, or do they move in and out and there's always a maximum of 25 there?
So there's 25 permanently placed there, and then there can be up to a maximum of 20 temporarily. And so on the map, it'll show the area where the temporary CCANs are moving in and out for the contract or for the contractor.
So there could be 45.
There could be
There could
45 there can be up to 45 at one time, yes.
Okay.
But 20 of them will be mobilized.
Right. Okay, thank you.
And not being intimate with the site, is there room for 45?
There is room in the temporary, and they're moved in and out, so they have to have accessibility for these. The 25, there is room, which is why it's limited to 25, because that's the capacity for the site where the permanent CCANs are located.
So he had this business before, and he had, did you have 100 CCANs at one point, Carl? He had approval. Yeah. Yeah, so this operation had already been going on. Yeah, so this isn't something new. This is just trying to get his business back up and running again so he can get his livelihood back.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's questioning that. I think the size of the lot has changed significantly because there's been a subdivision of a parcel. So that's why we're limiting it. That's why we worked with Carl and the limit is 45 because the site can't allow for 100 anymore.
That's what I was getting at. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the 100 CCANs that you had, or the up to 100 CCANs that you had, were never over on that subdivided area. Is that what you're saying? It was never planned to be over there? That's right. Yeah. 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 So 45. Yeah. So 45 seems reasonable. Yeah.
Anybody have anything else to add? Any questions? I will call the motion. All in favor? Motion is carried. So that now Jessica will go to a public hearing.
Correct. Yep.
Do you mind if I speak to, can I speak to the CCANs for a second? Just in general?
Sure.
Do you mind? Okay, so I had noticed, I had actually had some people reach out to me and for our HPC zones, actually I reached out to you, Jessica, as well, because Shauna thought in our HPC zones that you were actually allowed to have CCANs. Now, I know definitely people don't want CCANs on Emerald Park Road, and there's certain places where you definitely, don't want them, but in the HPC zones, like Shauna even thought they were allowed. So for CCANs in like a high profile commercial area or industrial area, they're built from heavy steel, they're weatherproof, they're rodent proof, they're highly secure, they're less expensive than a building. They can be relocated. The cost of construction is through the roof these days. And I'm wondering if we should maybe, make a note of this when we get back to our planning. We should, maybe look at allowing some of in there. If they're painted nice and they look nice, it's actually might help that area grow because they are acceptable and they possibly, I was told that it is some of the deterrent of people building and developing in some of our high profile areas is not allowing them. So just some feedback for you.
Yeah, I think we've had that discussion as well regarding agriculture land. Because I think they're only allowed one and now they're saying they need a permit. Tim, did we not discuss this at one time?
Use your mic.
I think there was still 5 comes to mind that in the ag sector.
I believe it's one.
Was it only because like I say I thought we had visited it and it seemed like it was 4 or 5 that were allowed in the ag sector.
And they have to have a permit, I think, for them all now. But this is just, people have had them on their property for years and years.
Because it is considered a building basically. But it's movable. So
yeah. And I believe at one time Paige said that was going to be revisited.
Yeah, this is all good feedback. This is because we're reviewing the zoning bylaw. This is the perfect time to bring this up. I hadn't heard that specifically there was an issue with high profile commercial. So if that is a constraint in that zone and specifically in Carson's, that's good to know. The intent of restricting it in the high profile zone was simply aesthetics. As you said, sometimes they look okay, sometimes not so much. And so we just wanted to preserve the intent of the high profile zone, which is sites with a lot of visibility, and making sure, like trying to make sure that outdoor storage is aesthetically appealing. And I'm just trying to pull up that section, Tim, to check on.
Well, I know, Jessica, in country residential, they're allowed one. So they have to be painted and match the property. So aesthetically,
I feel like that should be RM wide, painted, match the buildings, look nice. But I do understand the need for them, especially with the high cost of construction. And we were just talking about, buildings having flooding and rodents and all these things. CCANs are very secure. So we definitely need to relook at this for sure.
So just to answer the earlier question, in the ag zone, in general commercial, general industrial, and heavy extractive industrial, there's actually no maximum. In CR1, there's a maximum of 1 for every 2 hectares and a total maximum of 3. And then in CR2, you can only have 1.
And there was other talk that I don't know if you go on container sites and stuff, doing multiple ones with different heights and everything too. They stack them on top of each other, and there's people that basically build a home in them. That you know, it's because they are structurally sound, but again, we try to control that in some of our areas for sure, because it's just, you know, but again, if the wording's there to that they have to be painted and all the other stuff to match, I don't
That's
see
in
anything
country
wrong with it either.
residential.
Yeah.
That's the only one I think that has that, isn't it?
The way the bylaw is written is it has to match the principal building in any zone. We take $1,000 deposit, and there's no human or animal habitation allowed. I remember one person wanted to raise quails or pheasants in their sea can at one point, and they shall not be stacked on top of each other. So all of the things that you mentioned that we're seeing sea cans be used for are already addressed in our bylaw.
We will move on. We have to skip past 8.2, 8.3 and 9.1 because there are public hearings for those at 10 o'clock. So we will move on to 8.2, bylaw 2025-12, zoning bylaw text amendment, hydrovac waste disposal facilities.
So this has been a text amendment we've been working on for quite a while now with council and with the planning committee specifically. So I guess to summarize, the bylaw being proposed today would add hydrovac waste disposal facilities as a use to our zoning bylaw. However, there'd be some strict parameters around where people could apply. So if there's a section in the report, if you go down to proposed amendments, it kind of summarizes the parameters around what we're proposing in terms of development standards. And the key ones there are under number 3. So that's where we're saying you would not even be able to apply for a hydrovac waste disposal facility permit. And that includes areas that are aquifer sensitive, areas within the development overlay area, and we have a map attached showing where those areas are, within 75 meters of a water body or within 75 meters of a private well. And so all of those conditions are out of in response to the concern we've heard from council that there where these activities can result in groundwater contamination or contamination of wells. These are the conditions that we're hoping will help mitigate those concerns while still allowing for some hydrovac dumping where there's less risk within the RM. So we're just asking for first reading today. If first reading is received, we will schedule a public hearing. We do know that there's a few interested industry stakeholders that would likely come out to a public hearing just because this would affect their business, but we will just proceed with a normal bylaw adoption process and schedule a public hearing and give people the chance to come out and speak.
I can make the motion of discussion.
Thank you.
That bylaw 2025-12, a bylaw to amend bylaw 2019-20, known as the zoning bylaw, to add hydrovac waste disposal facility as a use to the zoning bylaw with associated development standards be given first reading, and that the planning department proceed with the public notification requirements and schedule a public hearing. Just I note that the motion up here is different than what's in the body of the committee recommendation. I just want to clarify, is that intentional?
Yes, sorry for the confusion. So the committee recommendation in the report is what came out of the planning committee. They wanted us to add those two provisions into the zoning bylaw amendment. And then the motion you just read is what council should pass today if they want to give first reading.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, at our planning and development meeting, we've got we've got a lot of concerns with this bylaw, and we looked at the development overlay area and decided that perhaps we should just absolutely prohibit it from anywhere in that area. So we added that. And we also changed it to a discretionary use in all zones. So those were sort of our two recommendations when it came back to the Planning and Development Committee. So discussion, anybody?
Yeah, I think it's important that that we have that overlay map of the water sensitive areas and stuff. Being the one that's south of my place there and stuff. I'm happy to say they haven't been dumping in there now. I haven't seen them at all this year.
I haven't either.
So yeah, and again, I had talked to Thomas Sand and Gravel. They had said that they do have allow some in one of their clay bottom pits, but again, he has strict regulations on it. He makes sure that he sees the where it came from and everything. So, and he didn't mind if they didn't have to have that. It wasn't something a real big concern of his. I know the one by Balgoni. I think they're doing it actually fairly well. They're farming the land with it and stuff. So, and they are out of that aquifer area. So that would be probably a good one to do. And it just makes it so that we want good stewardship when it comes to this type of waste and stuff, and yeah, do it properly, and we don't mind. We'll issue the permits in. But I kind of like the idea of having it so that it's a discretionary use for all areas. So it should come to council for that.
And another thing that I thought was important is even if there's a well in a corner of a quarter section, it eliminates that whole quarter section. That you can't be within the however many feet it was, 75 meters. You still can't go on that whole quarter. So I thought that was good.
Jess, can you just clarify that? Because I don't want council to have a misunderstanding of the intent here. I know anywhere in the aquifer sensitivity removes that quarter, but does that remove a quarter if there's a well on it?
Right. So if a portion of a quarter section, because sometimes like the boundaries of the aquifer sensitivity don't follow parcel boundaries. So we're saying if a portion of a parcel is sensitive, the whole parcel is considered sensitive. Wells, the 75 meters is 75 meters. So there could be a well on the quarter section. And you could apply on that same quarter section just outside of that 75 meters.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
I do have a couple of questions. One is, so regardless, it's an discretionary use. How many heavy extractive areas do we have in the RM?
Hardly any. The main one that is currently zoned to that zone is up by Pilot Butte. Like it's the pits north of New Horizons, and that's the only area where we have that zoning.
Thank you. The other thing I am concerned about is a requirement for haul agreements. So these things are, empty. They're, 9 to 14 tons, and fully loaded, they're between 25 and 32 tons. So what is that implication on our road haul agreements?
Well, if they're doing a continuous haul according with our bylaw, they would have to get a road haul agreement, and then they pay fees to us for the tonnage and the trip and the kilometers.
Okay, so then that to me is something that we should be having in the bylaw, that they are subject to road haul agreements. Because if they're putting that kind of weight on our roads, they're no different than anybody else. So that would be a request that I'd have before we take this any further.
That's a good point.
So Jessica, just questioning about the bylaw, would we put that in the zoning bylaw, or because we have a haul road agreement bylaw already, does that apply?
Yes, like I think they would, as a hauler, they'd be subject to the road haul agreement bylaw, regardless of what's in the zoning bylaw. And we could also add it as a condition to their development permit, just for clarity.
Yeah, and that's something I think if it sits aside by itself as a road haul bylaw, that's great, but it definitely needs to be in the discretionary because that's a lot of weight. And if you've got some of those trucks hauling every day, multiple times, that's a huge burden on our roads.
They come in here though to apply for their discretionary use application, they would be given all that information.
That's just what
Just as everybody else has been given.
That's
Yeah.
just what
So
we
it's
talked
just,
about.
yeah. So I do like that we have the discretionary use. I am glad I went back to the committee for some changes. So thank you to that committee for that.
Any further discussion? I will call the vote. All in favor? Motion is carried. So that too will go to a public hearing. You'll schedule that?
Yes.
Thank you. We have 4 minutes until the public hearing. Do we want
I
to?
just want to acknowledge that we have Forthright in the gallery as our rural civic addressing. I realize this is outside of. I'm just wondering if we can amend the agenda to include a bit of an update from them. Is that a possibility, Shauna?
You can make a motion to amend the agenda and then council will vote on it. Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to amend the agenda to allow Forthright to give us an update on the rural civic addressing.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Where do we want to put them in after the public hearings? What our public hearings?
Just so we know though, like we have a public hearing starting in 3 minutes.
In
So
3
can we
minutes.
have them present after the public hearing? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. That was getting a little tight for time.
Or I forgot what time it was.
That's okay. Okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to? Is there any items here that are we can do in 2 minutes? Just start the public hearing. Okay. Time being 9:58, we will begin the public hearing portion of our meeting. First public hearing is bylaw number 2025-16, zoning bylaw amendment parcel B and C, Northwest 3416-17, west of the second, agricultural to CR1 and CR1 to agricultural. Are there any written notifications?
No written submissions. No.
No written submissions. Okay. Do I have to make a motion for that? No written. Okay. Are there any verbal submissions? Seeing none, can we have a motion for no written, no verbal?
Make a motion that there's no written, no verbal submissions.
Thank you, Tim. All in favor? Motion is carried. Next is bylaw number 2025-17, bylaw to provide for the closure of a municipal road. Any written submissions?
No written submissions.
No written. Any verbal submissions? Seeing none. We have a motion for no verbal, no written. Thank you, Stephen.
A motion that there's no written or no verbal.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we can go back to our civic addressing and then we can. Yeah. All right, you can come forward now and present. I don't know their name. Maybe you can introduce yourself to start.
No problem. My name is Logan LaBelle Adams. I'm the owner and operator of Forthright General Contract, and I'm working with you guys on behalf of the civil address signs. for the RM of Edenwold. This is my assistant, Samantha Anterchuk. That's a brief description
Good.
of us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I guess,
I can just jump in.
Yeah,
We
you can
were
jump in.
having a bit of a discussion with the Public Works Engineering report this morning and sort of looking for an update in terms of where we're at with the rural civic addressing and anticipating its completion this year. So just wondering if saw you came in and we thought we'd take advantage of getting an update from you and see if there's issues or challenges that that we can advance.
I'm glad you asked about the challenges that we're facing. Okay. Well, let's start with the list. There.
Yeah. Can you speak? Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, it's God, I wish I had an earpiece. It'd be so much easier. But okay, we'll start with the list. The list that was provided to us. There's inaccurate addresses, incomplete addresses, not the right coordinates. So while we filed tickets, we aren't able to find it. So I've had to, on several occasions, talk to Rod to get clarification on that. That's one of the issues we've had. Another issue I personally have been dealing with, because I've been every day in the field, roads not being properly maintained. Like, impossible. I'll use 2183, 1921 to 2000. It's an impassable grid that to get to the other side of it, you have to go through a lake. I traveled that road. I've traveled almost every road in this RM now. This is a consistent problem I've seen. There's homeowners that are suffering with this issue of they live on the other side of one of these impassable sections. They have to travel 20 to 30 minutes to get to a primary grid to get back to any type of civilization. So my problem with that is an ambulance supposed to find their way to these people? How is RCMP supposed to respond to them? Like, suffering through, I'm carrying on, moving forward as I have to, but that's an issue that has been presented to me almost by every one of the constituents that I speak to about the road maintenance that they are receiving.
Just to answer that, 911, the RRM is responsible for telling them which roads are through roads, and that one you're speaking to, I know that that one has never gone through. It's not an all weather road by no means, and so it's the onus is on us to make sure that they have the proper coordinates so that if an ambulance or the RCMP, they will show them the proper route and everything for it. So yeah, that has been addressed.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if that issue's a non-issue, then that's fine. Constituents not want signs. That's another one that I've ran into where people have told me they do not want the post, they do not want the civil address sign. I put it up, they take it down. Or I go to stake, they take out the stakes, they take out the flags. I have to then go back to my office, refill out the ticket, reissue the ticket, wait for a call before you dig to come back out to restake everything. And I'm getting back to these people, and the ticket's completed, and I'm usually on site within 24 to 72 hours, and I already have all the flags pulled and no access to safely install the sign.
Have you reported that to Rod when that occurs?
I have made mentions of that and fill out another ticket. That's the only way to resolve that issue.
How many occurrences have you had of that?
Well, Raphael last year had 12 when he was doing this, and now I have had about 7.
So 19 out of 700.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I can understand. Some people want to cut their grass, but we're trying to get things moving safely along for everyone. Because worst thing I want to do is put in a post and get electrocuted and die. Because that's not good for anyone. Yeah. Finding properties. That's another one that I've been really good at, I guess. I've found about 15 to 20 properties so far in the last month of people that aren't on the list, aren't noted on the map, that aren't even anywhere realized. They've had a development permit. They've been in the RM for 3 to 5 years, but they have never been added to a map or a register. That's another issue.
How many of those have you found and have you reported those?
I have, and every time I fill out an invoice, I put notes of when I have found a new residence, and I send it to Rob.
Thank you.
No problem. Let's see what else. Duplicate signs are an issue that I hoped we were able to resolve last year when Rod went through all of them, but that is not something that we found. I've found an additional 36 duplicates out of the tickets I've taken, or the signs I've taken for this year. And yes, duplicates happen. We all know human error, so be it. But me as an installer, I'm out in the field. I have stacked signs. I've organized them. They're supposed to be this grid, only this grid. Take them out into the field. I install my signs. When I get to the end of it, I still have one sign. So now you have the question: well, did I miss one? Did something happen? So you end up going back. You go back to that sign. You go back to that ticket. You go back to that post. Oh, there is a sign. So you drive 30 minutes this way installing signs, and drive back 30 minutes to go check one to make sure that because one of my things, I'm not to talk about myself, but I'm ex-military. I'm very detail orientated. I don't want to miss something. I want to give you guys the best possible service that I can. But killing hours of going back to the same location to make sure that I've done it is both a cost on me and a cost on you guys. That's something I just wanted to address.
So are you saying that 2 properties have the same number? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, they had signs made multiple times.
So there's 2 signs with the same number. And so you would put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a property and then go to the next property and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, no, not in that case. I'm more talking about in the circumstance of, let's use grid. Let's see, what would be a good example of this? And 2182 commercial space, they had 3 driveways for their commercial space. Had a total of 6 signs, 3 driveways. 4 of them got installed because 2 of them were for the main office with 1 auxiliary business being there, 1 for the shop yard, 1 for their parking lot. But I still have 2 signs that are supposed to be assigned to these addresses. What do you guys want done with those? Like, I've been just keeping them and organizing them in my own stacks off to the side. I have given Rod back probably 20 or 30 of them so far, but I still have more. So that's something taxpayers have paid for. They're signs that were missed, added, however they came to be.
So basically, you've got extra signs. You've marked everything you thought needed to, but there's duplicate signs. So okay.
Yep.
Was this just an ordering error?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I'd say it would be something coming right from ordering, from manufacturing to ordering to be given to me.
Just asking, because if it's an ordering error, then it would be on our part. But if it was, the error on the other side, then we may have paid for signs that we didn't order. That's why I'm asking.
No, that would be something to follow up on.
Maybe we should look into that.
Did the duplicate signs cause a time constraint?
Yes. Yes, they have. Because I can do 15 to 20 signs a day of pounding in the post, put up the sign, move to the next location. Whenever I have to stop to double back to check on any of the signs that have been passed, and this isn't on the same day, obviously, this is more on a do these 3 grids, move on to the next 3 grids, go up higher into the RM, start back over on those 3 grids. I have now this duplicate sign saying, oh, 1831. Oh, I thought I installed 1831. Go back, check the sign. It is installed. Now it's duplicate. Now I have to remark down that this has been installed. Because the worst thing I could feel about this is, oh, that's just a duplicate. Put it off to the side. Then someone gets a call. Someone calls for an ambulance and they don't have a sign. That would destroy me as a person. Because the whole point of this project is to help people and make sure they can get the resources they need when they need them. And if I'm not doing my due diligence of double checking over every duplicate to make sure that these people have their signs, I'm not doing my contractual obligations to you guys or your constituents. Because who wants to get a phone call saying their grandparent died because the ambulance didn't get to them?
Just a question, how do you get the signs? Are they in any order or anything like that when you receive them, or have you got them all, or are they at the shop still?
I took possession of all of them now just so that I have them, because originally how we started this project, we slated as taking it area by area by area, moving from the south quadrant into the upper south, into the middle, then middle north, going into the start of the north, and then finishing in the far north of the RM. That was one of the reasons I've taken all the signs so that I can actually filter through all the tickets. Because Rod last year was supposed to do an entire evaluation of all the signs he had. Because originally we only took 150 because we were waiting for signs. If you guys recall, we were waiting for signs to be manufactured last year. We didn't get all the signs or they weren't all distributed by ALS traffic until almost the end of August. So we only took the ones that we had and we operated on that principle. But with that being done, there were multiple duplicates from multiple orders that span the entire RM. So the reason I took them all now, because now I can actually go through them and be like, no, this is the list. These are the signs we have. Because when I was taking them at 150 a time, how do you know you have a duplicate until you have a duplicate?
So in terms of, is there any other challenges that you want to share with us before I move into solutioning?
I'd like to circle back to addresses being missed, houses that have been there for 3 to 5 years. Did anyone physically go out onto the grids to actually inspect to make sure that the list that was provided to us was hand done?
I don't think it's your responsibility to make sure every property is hit. Your responsibility is to install the signs that we've given you, I think. So that was the contract that you were given. It's not your responsibility for due diligence to make sure that each and every property is included in that list. It's great information to have as you go out and see that there are some missed so that we can check on them. But no, we don't have the staffing or resources to drive down every single grid road in the RM to make sure that every single occupied residence was on that list. We're doing the best we can with what resources we have. And I think we need to move forward on making sure we can get these stalls installed as per your contract.
So to that point, I guess, Clark, is there something that additional that we need to be doing, or have we provided everything that we need to? And I know those of us who have been very much a proponent of getting this done, we would really like to get it done. So I guess, notwithstanding, and to your point, Clark, additional information is great, but it is the contract that we have with Forthright. So what can we expect, I guess, as far as conclusion of the contract and getting the rest of the signs installed?
Conclusion of the contract? I've been doing my best, honestly, to try and keep up with getting your guys' contract done, but I guess I'm not doing it fast enough in Rod's opinion. So I'd like to propose the option for me to return all the signs and have you guys continue on. I'm sorry that that has to be something I have to propose, but
Sorry, at the start of the year, we talked about finishing this project off and, extending it from this year or from last year into this year. And at the start of the year, you indicated that it shouldn't be a problem installing the remainder of the signs this year based on the progress that you were finally able to make last year and the fact that we had, the majority or 98% of the signs now. So what's changed from the start of the year till end of August that it's not, like you say, it's not to Rod's standard, it's not to any of our standards. We want to, unless you can say that you can still get it done this year, it's not going to be to council standard that if you can't get them done by end of freeze up this year.
I'm a one-man group. I no longer have Raphael. He's going back to school. I'm by myself doing all of these signs, filling out the tickets and having everything done. On the note of the tickets, we're only allowed to put in 100 tickets at a time now from Call Before You Dig. So that's another constraint that has been holding me back. So I'm just being open and transparent of what I'm experiencing.
100 tickets at a time.
And it'll take
In what period of time?
Correct. But it will take Call Before You Dig somewhere between, if all the tickets are within close proximity, they can do 10 to 20 a day. If they're spread out, we're looking at maybe 5 to 8 a day.
5 to 8 a day. And my understanding was there was 30 signs installed in August.
No, there was more signs installed than that, but that is all I could provide on my list for invoicing.
Yeah, because the tickets, I think as you get them done, you get a block done, you can order more. I think, given you being a one-man crew, that should be acceptable for staying up to date with your tickets. I would think.
Logan, how many are left to install?
How many are left to install? We approximately have 210, if my count in my head is correct.
And what proportion of those have been submitted to Call Before You Dig?
We currently have 100 tickets out waiting for them to be fulfilled.
And so do you foresee being able to complete this work this year?
I want to, and I will do my best to make that happen for you guys. But I don't know if I can get the whole 210 tickets done by myself because I'm already working. I start at 7 in the morning and I work until 7 at night. And I'm getting tired and I'm getting burnt out. And I'm just being realistic and honest with you guys. And sorry if that's not the answer that we want, but that's just the reality of the situation. So how would you guys like to move forward?
I think perhaps I'll leave that with our staff to determine what they think is optimal. That's not a council decision to make.
Yeah.
Really fair.
Do we want to have you reach out to Clark and try and formulate a plan to see where we go from here? Is that what you'd like to do, Clark, or?
Yep, we should do that outside of council.
Outside of council, maybe reach out and see if we can, help with some of the issues you're incurring and see if we can still get this completed this year.
That's appreciated.
Thank
Okay.
you for coming in.
Okay.
Appreciate
No
it.
problem.
So, yeah, just make sure that you and Clark get together and as soon as possible.
Okay. Whether your
Okay.
availability is, Clark, let's set this appointment right now.
You can, yeah,
Sure.
outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you for coming in.
And the time being 10:20, motion for a 15-minute break. Thank you, Nicole. All in favor? Okay, it's 10:30. We will now continue on with our agenda. Item 8.3, bylaw number 2025-16, zoning bylaw text amendment, parcels B and C, Northwest 34, 16, 17, west of the second, CR1 to AR, and AR to CR1. Jessica.
Yes, this was the bylaw for which we had the public hearing earlier. It's a CR1 subdivision, and everything is straightforward in that sense, but they are at the same time consolidating an existing CR1 subdivision back into the quarter section. So that's why there's the two elements to the zoning amendment. We're rezoning the existing site back to ag as it's being consolidated, and we're rezoning the new site to CR1. All of the requirements have been met for this file, so we're asking for second and third reading, and we're asking for subdivision approval.
Thank you. Looking for a motion.
I can kick us off.
Okay.
That bylaw number 2025-16 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2019-20, known as the zoning bylaw by rezoning existing block parcel B plan 102384165 extension 0 from country residential 1 to agricultural resource and rezoning proposed parcel B Northwest 34 16 17 west of the second from ag resource to country residential 1 be given second reading.
Any discussion? Any questions? I'll call the motion. All in favor? Motion is carried. Next one, looking for a motion for.
Hi, I can. That bylaw number 2025-16 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2019-20, known as the zoning bylaw by rezoning existing parcel B plan 1024165 extension 0 from CR1 country residential to agriculture resource and rezoning parcel C Northwest 34 16 17 west of the second from AR agricultural resource to CR1 be given the third and final reading.
Thank you. The next one will be another one, right? We'll have to do three.
These are three separate readings?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know the two bylaw readings are separate, but the last part, is that a separate motion that you're looking for?
Yeah, that's the motion for the subdivision approval.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then I will call the vote. All in favor? Motion is carried. And the subdivision approval, looking for a motion. Stephen, thank you.
That we recommend approval for the subdivision of parcel C, Northwest 34 16 17 west of the second, and the concurrent consolidation of bulk par B plan 10 23 84 16 5 extension 0 as shown on the plan. Proposed subdivision prepared by Midwest Surveys Inc. dated June 6, 2025, be approved and authorize the Reeve Chief Administrator Officer to sign the servicing agreement, with it being noted that the servicing agreement has been signed by the landowner. No servicing agreement fees are owing. The municipal reserve requirement has been met, and the application complied with the RM's official community plan and zoning bylaw.
Thank you. I'll call the vote. All in favor? Motion is carried. And that concludes anything else in planning, Jessica?
Nope, that's all. Thanks.
Okay. RM business.
Don't we need to do the municipal closure?
It's coming. It's coming. Now 9.1, City of Regina, request for permanent road closure, Range Road 2185, east of Northeast 7, 1818, west of the 2nd.
All right, so the City of Regina has requested to permanently close the municipal road located east of Northeast 7, 1818, west of the 2nd, which is Range Road 2185. The road is unimproved and does not serve any essential public or municipal access, and the city owns both properties on each side of the road allowance and has experienced ongoing issues with vandalism and trespassing in the area. So to address these concerns, the city intends to install a permanent fence that will extend across the original road allowance without gates, thereby restricting entry and enhancing site security. For the financial impact, it's limited to the road is unimproved and no ongoing maintenance or infrastructure costs are associated with this closure. There are some other options. We could lease the road allowance. So that allows restricted access while retaining municipal control. We could install barriers as a temporary closure that deters access without formal road closure that would require agreements. And this option is currently in place, but seemingly ineffective. So part of this could involve a sign from the RM stating the road allowance is closed, or enhanced monitoring or enforcement. So using signage or patrols to discourage trespassing. I'll just note that council had passed a similar bylaw back in 2021 for the road, Range Road 2190, west of Northwest 7, 1818, for deterring trespassing and vandalism. It was for the adjacent Murray Golf Course, and that was also requested by the city. For that one, gates were installed at each end of the road closure, but for this one, they would request a permanent fence. They would install a permanent fence at the northern access point, and then the gravel pits located at the south end of the quarter shall serve as a natural barrier. So we're asking for first reading at this meeting, but if council is satisfied, we could do all 3 readings at this meeting. We just had to advertise that we were considering this bylaw. But otherwise, we'll bring back the bylaw for second and third reading at the September 9th council meeting.
I can make that motion if we can talk about it if you
Good.
want.
Yep.
Sure.
Thank you, Nicole.
That bylaw 2025-17, a bylaw to provide for a closure of a municipal road for Range Road 2185 east of Northeast 07-1818 west of the 2nd, be given first reading.
Thank you. And discussion?
I just was going to make a comment. Yeah, back in 21, I guess was that they had approached us, and I know for many years that used to be quite a hangout for the kids and everything, and going joyriding, and sadly to say I was one of them when way back in the time too that we used to go to out there too. So yeah, I think it's good that they're gonna close it off completely, and they're gonna put the fence up and everything. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer for us.
Thank you.
Just a question. Was that the quarter to the east of the Murray Golf Course? Is that the one that we had the sweat lodge on that we were invited to attend?
Sorry, Carmen, was this one on the south or west boundary? This one right here.
Yeah,
I think there's a gate, so it allows access in to get in there. But
Right. Okay. So it's not actually on that quarter. It's the parcel.
It's it's 2 quarters away, I believe, 2
Okay.
quarters west.
Okay. Thank you.
So quick question. So the city of Regina, so they're coming out, what do you know, like what are they vandalizing? What are they doing? Just tearing up the roads, or what are they?
yeah, I think it's ATVers are going in there. People are just accessing it and getting on the land over there. So they just want to deter any trespassing and vandalism.
Yeah, I think it starts to become a garbage dump, and they have bonfires, pit fires, and any other discussion? What if we want to do all three? Yeah. Okay. 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 Okay, I will call the vote to give this first reading. All in favor? Motion is carried. Would we like to proceed with all three readings at this meeting? Okay. Yes, we need to. Are you going to prepare it, or can we just say it? Just say it. Okay. Okay, we will call for second reading. All in favor? Yeah.
I'll make the motion for second reading.
Okay.
Want me to say the whole thing? That bylaw 2025-17, a bylaw provide for closure of municipal road for Range Road 2185 east of northeast 7, 1818 west of the second be given second reading.
All in favor? Motion is carried. And then we'll need a motion for third and final reading. It must be. And it has to be unanimous.
Yeah. And then
Okay, just for the wording. Okay. Okay, we need a motion to have all three readings at this meeting.
I motion that we have all three readings at this meeting, and it must be unanimous. Nope.
No,
Okay.
no, just that we have all three
Okay.
readings. Okay,
Done.
all right. All in favor? Motion is carried. And now we will for our third and final reading, and it must be unanimous. Okay. Okay, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Tim did, and then Carmen made it. And then Carmen.
Yep, that's right.
That's
So now
right.
we need one more.
And
Yeah.
I'll make the last motion.
Okay, Tim, you make the last
yeah.
one. I think that's the first time we've ever done that. All in favor? Motion is carried. Have you? I haven't. Okay, thank you. Okay, we will move on to 9.2, a new part-time CSO position for consideration and CSO supervisor succession planning.
All right, I've invited CSO Ash here to, in case we have any questions for him after I present the report. So this report was presented to the Protective Services Committee, and it's to seek council support for the addition of a part-time CSO position this fall. So our current CSO supervisor has expressed a desire to go back to the original contracted hours of 10 hours per week this fall, with the intention of semi-retiring in early 2026. We have an opportunity to onboard a qualified candidate without incurring training costs. So as I mentioned, the CSO supervisor has expressed the intention to semi-retire in the new year, and this creates a leadership gap that will require thoughtful planning and transition. Recruitment for qualified CSO personnel has been historically challenging for the RM, and if we should hire a candidate that requires to take the CSO training, the course, the cost of tuition, books, and lodging can be around $12,000. And we recently learned of a potential candidate who is fully trained and interested in part-time work beginning in the fall. So administration intends to transition one of our current full-time CSOs into the role of the CSO supervisor in January as part of their full-time position. And ideally, the current CSO supervisor would remain engaged as just a regular CSO on a casual contract basis. That allows them to retain the CSO appointment and provide coverage during staff vacations and unforeseen long-term absences. The part-time position would be funded through reallocation within the existing CSO departmental budget. So there's no increase to the overall budget required at this time. The intent would be to hire the candidate on a contract basis for September 1st to December 31st and working 2 days per week. That would cost around $9,500 for the remainder of the year. Should the candidate prove to be a suitable long-term fit, administration would propose reclassifying this position to a permanent part-time role in 2026. And at that time, they would become an employee of the RM and be eligible for benefits. We would propose the permanent part-time position be 3 days per week in 2026. However, that could be just kept at 2 days per week if council would prefer. So there's a few items to note about the budget. One thing, we could possibly offer additional hours to our contracted municipalities, which provides additional revenue to the RM. We provided details about the candidate, so you're aware. Now, I just want to provide a little bit more context. So in the 2025 budget, council approved the 2 full-time CSO positions plus the CSO supervisor contracted position. So if we talk in terms of FTEs, which are full-time equivalent employees, our 2 full-time CSOs are considered 2 FTEs as they work the 40 hours per week, or they each work 40 hours per week. In the 2025 budget, because of the CSO staff turnover at the end of 2024, we had increased the supervisor's weekly hours to be 20 hours per week from the 10 hours. So that is reflected as a 0.5 FTE. The 10 hours per week would be reflected as 0.25 FTEs. So currently we're at 2.5 FTE, and that was approved with the budget. So the current CSO is going to go back to the 10 hours per week for the fall. That takes us back to a 0.25 FTE for that position. With the proposed contracted part-time position for September to December, 2 days a week or 16 hours per week, that would be considered a 0.4 FTE. So the current CSO supervisor will remain at 10 hours per week to assist with the oversight while the new part-time CSO starts and gets familiar with the area and with responsibilities. And we have to keep in mind that it can take 3 to 4 weeks for the special constable appointment from the ministry when we hire a new CSO. And so when we don't have their appointment, they can only ride along. They can't be dressed in the uniform. They can't issue any tickets. So for the remainder of 25, this would be a 2.65 FTE, 2 full-time, the 1 part-time contract, and the CSO supervisor contract. For 2026, like I mentioned, we would propose the 3 days per week. That would take us to 2.6 FTE in 2026. With the current CSO supervisor to move to a regular CSO, it would be on a contract on a casual basis, and we would only call the CSO in to cover when needed, and that way we'll retain the special constable appointment. And we just recently learned that one of our full-time CSOs will be taking 2 months parental leave in January and February, so this is where the casual CSO could fill in. We could also request the White City CSO to do patrols in accordance with our agreement with White City. However, we would have to reciprocate the equivalent number of hours in order for there to be no fees. So we presented the recommendation of the committee, but council can discuss.
Can you bring the motion up on the screen? Okay, I am looking for a motion to discuss, please.
Chair, the council approves the hiring of a part-time community safety officer CSO by contract effective fall of 2025 to support succession planning and ensure continuity of service within the CSO program. And further, that we include this position as a permanent part-time position, including benefits, in the 2026 budget, and that the CSO supervisor position be reclassified as a permanent full-time position, including benefits in the 2026 budget.
Thank you.
I was just going to speak to it too. I think it's we're kind of looking at, and we've got this opportunity to get this individual that is retiring from the Regina City Police, and again. We've been pretty lucky with the last ones that we had got from RPS, and I'm hoping that we can continue with that. I think Donna has been an asset to us as far as all of her knowledge and everything. And I don't know if everybody read my shared notes from the RCMP stakeholders meeting, but one thing that I didn't know was that our CSOs have been trained on the breathalyzer now. And I guess they have in their possession that device now in the cars that they can get they can ask for a breath sample, and if they, as long as they don't blow a fail, which would result in criminal charges, they can do the 3 to 7 day suspensions then too, correct? Which I at this stakeholders meeting. Both Corey and the Kurt Stiller is the guy that's basically in charge of that program and everything. They both had nothing but praise for RCSOs and for White Cities, and are really looking forward to a long relationship with them, which I think is fantastic because I think in prior years they knew we were here, but they didn't really utilize that much. And I really feel that Corey is going out of his way to try to include him on a lot of stuff. And I think that's fantastic because at the end of the day, that's what we want to do is get the drugs off the road and any other infractions and stuff. And we're growing, and if we get more people on it, it might be something that we'll look at doing a little bit more in contracts and stuff like that down the road too. If you got extra people, it might be something to look at. So no, I think this is a good way to start.
I too think this is perfect timing and transition for Rod, and you've been amazing. So I just want to thank you for everything. And yeah, I'm happy for you that you can transition into semi-retirement, and thank you for everything. And yeah, I think it's really good timing. So I think it's a great idea.
I just think back to a couple of years ago, Rod, you were 10 hours per week, and given the difficulty we had finding another community safety officer, hours. So I see it as like if you go back to your 10 hours a week, we would be remaining the way we were set to be. I don't know. I mean, dollar wise and ratepayer, wise, if this is the way we should go. I mean, this is open for discussion, but it might be something that we want to table until our Reeve and Stan are back as well. I think this is a big decision, and I think we should have them part of this discussion as well.
We can table it if you want for them to come back, but it is my understanding that by this transition, we are actually going to save about $12,000 on CSO training, because we are actually going to be, the hire will be a RPS.
That's correct. We don't have to have them take the training. We've been very lucky that we haven't had to send anyone for training. We were able to get people that have already had the training or former RPS. So, but it has been a challenge to try and find these people. So yeah, we would be saving that 12 grand if we had to hire someone and send them for the course.
Just for clarity then,
That-
Karen, I guess, is the next meeting is when? Our next council meeting is what?
September 9th.
September 9th.
September 9th. Is it feasible? Because I agree. I think this is a decision that it would benefit from our two other parties to be part of this conversation. I do think it's an interesting opportunity that presents itself. My question is, do we lose potentially access to this individual if we delay it 2 weeks?
I'm not sure. He, Dean retired in March and he was going to stay retired. And then come a month ago, he called me, asked if we were looking for people. He's that kind of guy. He had his 2 months off and now he's looking to find something, right? And I agree, it's a big decision and having the rest of the council here might not be a bad idea. It's funny because in our discussion in our committee, it come up that I'm talking myself out of a job, and if that is it, so be it, and I'm fine with that. But I want to leave use better than when I got here, and this is an excellent opportunity. I really, really want you to take a close look at it because it does save us money, and the experience we're getting with this new hire is he's a traffic officer. You talk about working with the RCMP. His last 5 years has been in combined traffic services. And who is he working with? But the RCMP. So I see it as a way of enhancing our traffic safety program and enhancing our relationship with the RCMP. And knowing Dean, he's a hard worker and you'll see a benefit from it in a short period of time.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
so I
that
guess
very much, Rod. I appreciate that. In respect to our two outstanding members, I'd like to suggest we table this until our next meeting.
Yeah, because this is a big item. I mean, this is a budgetary item, like virtually we're creating a new position and it's going to be, to the tune of probably $70,000 in our budget for next year. So I really think that this should be tabled until they're back. And I think we should take a close look at this because right now we're set up the way we always have been, and Rod would stay on for his 10 hours. So, yeah, I think we should table it until Al and Stan are back for further discussion.
So we just need a motion to table to September 9th meeting.
I can do that.
If everyone's in.
That we table this discussion till the September 7th,
9th.
Oh, sorry.
There's a motion on the table, but you can put a tabling motion on to table it and then it gets tabled to September 9th.
You want me to restate that, Karen?
It still has to be voted. The tabling motion still has to be voted on.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Okay, I will call the vote for the table motion. All in favor? Motion's defeated.
Since that motion has been defeated, now you call
Yes.
the vote on the
Yeah.
original motion.
Yeah. I will. You've read that already, Tim, so I will call the motion or the vote for Tim's motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
I just don't want to lose the opportunity to have someone like this join our crew, especially when you're transitioning. So that's my vote.
Okay. Yeah, move on. 9.3 EMO emergency plan update. Thank you, Rod.
All right. Okay, so this is the RM of Edenwold emergency plan update. Okay, so this report is to outline the necessary changes to the current RM of Edenwold's emergency plan, specifically focusing on the revision and confirmation of personnel assignments and their respective roles. Having accurate and up-to-date contact information and role definitions are essential to ensure a coordinated and effective response during emergency situations. This update reflects staffing and council changes, clarifies responsibilities, and enhances the overall readiness and resilience of our emergency management framework. Since the adoption of the emergency plan back in 2021, there have been numerous personnel changes that require updates to key sections of the document, and those are found on pages 9, 11, 41, and 44. Those changes include revised contact information, role assignments, and updates to the White Butte Regional EMO fan-out lists to ensure accurate and effective communication during emergencies. So the first chart revises the original phone fan-out, incorporating updated counselor names, phone numbers, their respective positions within the communication tree. And the second chart outlines the current EMO incident command system structure, identifying roles that require council input, specifically the planning, communications alternate, safety, and safety alternate positions. So council discussion is needed to confirm which councillors will assume these roles. Additionally, updates to the roles within the White Butte Regional EMO are required, and it's recommended that CAO Shauna Bisdell and Councillor Posehn be added to the roster. So I would say before the motion is made to approve the updated plan, let's review the pages and assign the councillors' names to the positions, if that's okay.
Yep. Thank you, Karen.
Okay, so I'll just go through these pages here. So for page 9, which is our Arm of Edenwold phone fan out, we have updated it to include all current councillors and current staff members that are been assigned. So the EMO coordinator is Councillor Brote. I'm not sure if we need to have the alternate in there. So that would be Councillor Posehn. You're the alternate on the EMO. And then it would go down to the administrator, the Reeve, and the CAO. And then each of those ones have who they would contact. So all the councillors are then included, where Councillor Brote would be in the list of councillors. We included a representative, Rod Benroth, because Councillor Brote is the EMO coordinator. And then the staff members that would be also included. So does council have any questions or suggestions for this particular chart?
So Karen, I just question with Rod retiring, we should probably just put the new name in there. The new gentleman.
Sure. Should we wait until we'll put TBD right now until we've confirmed everything? Yeah. Okay. His name's Dean.
We shouldn't, if it hasn't been communicated, we shouldn't have it as part of the.
I'll put TBD on there.
So this is all closed. This isn't being shared with public. These are closed reports. It's not viewable for public right now. This is
just a question I have in terms of the actual phone numbers on there. Are those, I appreciate that the councillors are their personal cell phones, but is the staff, is that their personal cell phones or their?
There could be some that are RM phones, but there are personal cell phones on there. So again, an internal document. It's not going to be posted anywhere for the public.
Nicole, do you have your ICS 200 or just the 100?
I will have to complete it, which I will. Yeah.
Did you do the 100 though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 200 is the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. I thought that you might have had it, but yeah, that's where we suggested, because it is nice to have that extra training on it and stuff. So.
For sure. Thanks, Tim. I'll do that.
So do we want to include Councillor Posehn as an alternate in the emergency measures coordinator box at the top?
I would think we should, because what if Tim wasn't available? I would think that should be there. Do you have more reports you want to go through, Karen?
Okay, so pages 11 and 41 are the key holders' contact information. This is the one where there's phone numbers. So, and the battle box is now being kept at the administration in the RM office here, and we know where it is. So if we always come across, it's like, where's the battle box? Okay, so there's, oh, sorry, Tim.
I was just gonna make a suggestion too, that maybe for the Emerald Park, or not the rural shop, I'm not sure what kind of generators they've got there. Do we have any generators or anything that I'm not suggesting to put a standby generator there, but you know, to do one of the hookups that you can bring power in and have a, you know, some type of a generator sitting there in case of a emergency and we have a blackout or something like that. It would be nice to have one of our operation centers to have the ability to get the generator going. I know on my farm, all I do is I got a cheater cord made up, and I shut the power off at the pole, and then I can power it through a welder plug. I can power my house with it. It's not a big generator, but it's something just for an emergency situation.
Yeah, I don't believe we have one at the rural shop for that. Our requirement, like I'll put it in 2026 budget under the EMO. And but we'll have to take a look at the electrical requirements. Like if there is a power outage, I wouldn't expect that we'd be doing any welding, and like because we do have some high electrical use, you know,
that's what I'm suggesting
within the building. So we'd have to take a look at it.
Is, you know, just something for a small generator that we could power up, and even if we have to put a couple of plugs in the boardroom and just piggyback off of them, and they're just strictly just for an emergency situation that they can go and start up the generator outside the thing and let her go, you know.
We have generators at the rural shop, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they've ever been kind of looked at for powering the building, but I think that would be.
I don't think they have to be that big. I think.
Yeah,
but I'm suggesting just have two or three plugins that are specifically for that generator, right. and that's it. So it's under a, you know, to get it wired in it's
cheap.
It's a couple $100 or
yeah.
a few $100.
Both my kids have that. They've got generators, and we had a plug installed. So if there's a power outage and it runs fridge lights or whatever, works great.
Computers is what I was thinking of. To power computers, laptops or whatever, and have some source of power. And again, if it's a big enough incident, then you know we would probably be joining forces with the regional one then too. But again, it's just preventative maintenance. The way I look at it.
Exactly.
Just mentioned we'll add internet as communications for the administration office. Not sure why we didn't include that. So we're going to add internet at the top here. We have the landline, Wi-Fi, computer. We'll put internet. Oh yes, and I'll change Rod Ash to be TBD as well as the secondary EOC key holder. Any other questions, comments on this page? Page 41 is emergency contact list. So there's several agencies that are listed. We also have the EMO coordinator. I think we'll add the alternate on there as well.
Yeah.
And then we have the CEO, administrator, Reeve, deputy Reeve, which we'll determine at the next council meeting. We should probably, we just have one CSO listed. Do you think we need to list them all?
I think if you have Donna on there and she can fan out to the others, then you just have one main one. Yeah.
Okay. Any other?
What about our public works foreman, or not public works? Emerald Park lead operator. Should they be on there as well?
I think I mean, we could. The more critical component is like the water and sewer systems to make sure that we have them
And
being
Jason's on
attended to. Yeah. But in general, the lead operator, I mean, it would just be more, do we need more hands on deck rather than do we need the expertise of the lead operator from Emerald Park to respond to an emergency?
Good, thank you.
So do we want to add our water treatment plant operator as on there? No.
We
Yeah,
have Rod
I did
on the
see him.
emergency contact list. I
Yeah.
think Rod would then, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You guys have any other comments or see any glaring errors?
No.
No. All right, we'll move on to page 44. Now this is the one where we need to, oops, sorry, I'm page 44. Oh, these are, again, this is the key holder contact list for all the municipalities currently. So we've updated ours. We'll have to see if Balgony, Pilot Butte, White City, it looks like most of them are updated.
Pilot Butte isn't.
We'll confirm if Pilot Butte has a public works foreman contact before we'll add that in. Any questions, concerns?
Looks good.
All right, so the ICS roles fan out. This is the one I was thinking here. So we need to include council members in this fan out tree. So again, we're starting with the EMO coordinator, Councillor Broad. We have the deputy EMO coordinator, Councillor Posehn, unless we want to put someone else. So in our previous one for the communications, public information, it was the Reeve. So we've put Reeve Trainer. The alternate was the deputy Reeve, Stan Kapnerhurst. And then Lee, our communications officer, would support. In our old one for the safety, Councillor Kodalak was the person named. So we should probably have an alternate. We suggest Councillor Posehn at that one. And then we have our CSOs. We'll change Rod Ash's name out in this one right now. Under operations, liaison, admin, and finance, we have the CAO. And then under that, under logistics, we have the public works employees. So the foreman, the lead operator in the rural shop, the water treatment plant operator, and then we had put one of the public works operator, but we should probably put the lead operator for Emerald Park. Under social services, it's myself and then Jen, as just because they live close by, they're quick to get here. We don't want someone that's going to be like takes an hour to get here. People in Regina, it's easy enough to get here. And same with for the admin finance. We could probably put Sarah's name here.
Yeah.
And then Jessica, again, proximity to the RM. So we're looking for names for the planning category.
You can put me on that.
Darren, do you want to get more involved with this? Stephen?
Yeah, you can put I thought you had mine down there, but that.
So we have
At
to
the
be
committee, we
careful.
talked
This
about it,
is,
but
yeah, this is about the ISC command. So we don't need to have everybody. Everybody's going to be involved, but these are just the people that are going to be divvying out the work and planning everything and communicating everything. So trust me, if there is an emergency, you will all be involved.
So these are points of contact.
Yeah.
So Darren or Stephen, if you want planning, that's fine. It's just, I was a vacancy, so I thought I'd put my hand up, but I'm not hung up on it, so.
Yeah, put mine in there.
One. So who
Do we
wants
want
to be it?
do we want an alternate as well?
We can do an alternate.
Okay, so we're doing Counselor Leibel?
Oh, we're doing Counselor Stephen and then alternate Darren.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that anybody that's on this, make sure that you have your ISC 100 as well, because this is a serious role,
Yeah.
the planning role.
ICS 100, if you Google it, it'll come up. And I imagine you probably have it. So with CN probably, they probably had it on there. But to take the course, it's been a lot of years since I've done it, but probably maybe a 3-hour window, something like that. And it's all online, and yeah, you can do it at your leisure. But it's definitely gets you introduced to, how incident command works and everything, and the different areas and stuff that you have to kind of, what logistics is and what safety is all about, and all the different areas and what's in your portfolio then. So yeah, I recommend taking that training.
Yeah. I think it took me about 4 hours when I took it. That's a few years ago now, but yeah.
Okay, so we're for planning, we have Counselor Werner and Counselor Besbaraco as the alternate. And you're satisfied with all the other suggestions?
Can I make a recommendation? We have Nicole as alternates for 2. If she is if she's the EMO coordinator because of Tim, I would recommend that we should have a different safety alternate, because you can't do 2 roles.
Yeah.
There's already an alternate for planning.
Well, Carmen, you can
Carmen, do
slip
you
into that one
Yeah,
if you
they can.
like.
Yep. I got the safety vest. I'm good.
Oops, all right. Okay, we're all good with this one. Just have one more to look at.
Okay.
This is the White Butte EMO. Found out. This is from 2024. So this is the one I believe where we're recommending we'll put CAO Shauna Bisdell and Counselor Hussain in there. So we would remove former Counselor Tuksher.
So that's our only change there, is putting Nicole in and taking out Rod and adding you. Okay.
Because we don't need all council members on this one.
Right.
We have the Reeve and Deputy Reeve. So yeah, we're good. We'll just add those 2 other ones on there.
And remove Rod.
Oh yeah, and Deputy Reeve will change to TBD at the moment. Any further comments, questions on this one?
Just a question, how frequently, like what sort of, there's a lot of outdatedness, I'll say, on this. Like, do we have a regular cycle for which we renew this? Like if
We did not. So that's why it's like from 2021 and now we're doing it. So we will try to do this annually, keep it up to date.
That's kind of like with the battle box too. I have tried to take the initiative to go through the battle box and just kind of update it. There is some battery operated items in there and stuff that batteries need to be replaced and stuff, and again to update our plans because again the contact lists and stuff that are in that battle box are stagnant. So we need to. So once we get this one all updated and everything, then I'll try to go through that again and make sure that battle box is up to standard. Because I know the last time we used it, we pulled out some of the stuff and went, "Wow, this is old. This is no good," and so yeah, we've got to make a point of doing that every year.
So maybe what we could do is sort of flag, beginning of September long weekend, we go through this process and we go through a battle box cleanup, just so it's like It's like changing your batteries in the smoke detector on your birthday, right?
Yeah, I think we actually discussed this in the fall when we were in Saskatchewan about updating the battle box. Yeah.
I just have a question about the generator thing again. So does this building here have a backup generator? This is where all the computers are. Like, maybe we should think about actually having a good one for this building anyway. First, because you guys were talking about the other building, right? The rural shop.
Yeah, the rural shop. Yeah, we have backup power generation for our water treatment plant and our water supply wells right now. So, and it's automatic.
So
Don't lose service, but those are the only two facilities.
yeah, so why were we wanting it out there but not here?
I believe we've used that as like the training ground. So if they're in an emergency, I guess I'll let you speak to it, maybe Tim.
Yeah, the reason we've got the rural shop because we got a lot more room out there, and if we just do an activation for the RM of Edenwold, this would probably be good enough. If we do a regional one, and that's our site, we would not have enough room in here. Because you got all the different communities, you got all these people coming in, and that's why I chose out there for and again, it doesn't have to be too fancy of a. It can be kind of a farmer fix type generator that you plug in, and as long as you got access to 3 or 4 plugins that are strictly designated just for that, and they can just be added into the thing. So that's why I say the cost is going to be minimal, and to have an extra generator sitting around to power those up isn't going to be a big expense either. So.
With that being said, you think that there should be some just rigged farm generator that we could use for this building too in the event of an emergency?
We can take a look at it. Yeah.
I think that probably would be a budget item, but those generators, the big ones that power up everything, our whole farm runs on one of those if the power goes out. Like, it runs absolutely everything. But maybe at budget time, that's something that we could get some quotes on, and
Yeah, well,
I think it's a good idea.
look what happened with that plow wind that went through here. I mean, everything was down. I mean, I had a generator for my house, but my neighbors were all wanting to plug into my
Plug
house.
into your house.
Yeah, unfortunately, it would have been last year or the year before, I guess, finally, RCMP finally got their own generator where they didn't have a generator either, backup generator.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was, it actually, from the stakeholders meetings, we all signed a paper, sending it to Ottawa that they should put in a generator, and it did hold a little bit of water because they finally did get it in. So, yeah.
I know that I think the one we've got, I believe it was $20,000, which really, when you think about what it provides.
Yeah, and if you have them running off of, say, like natural gas, then you don't have to ever worry about old gas in it. It always starts.
That's right.
It's dependable.
Yeah. Make a note. Thanks, Clark. Okay.
All right. Any other comments or concerns? So, because if not, with all these changes that we've made, is council prepared to just approve the updated plan as presented today, and then we'll update it and send it to you guys?
Absolutely. I think we can go to that motion then, Karen. Okay, looking for a motion. Kim?
Sure. Yeah, I got my name down quite a few times. So, yeah. That we approve the updated RM of Edenwold's emergency plan as presented on August 26, 2025.
Okay, I call the vote. All in favor? Motion is carried. Correspondence. There is none. Okay, we will go to committee reports. I there any? Do you have a
Yeah,
report?
yeah, I've got a couple. Protective Services Committee, we had talked about a lot of the stuff that we had updated here and everything, and say with the new CSO appointment and everything was all brought to committee, and I think it's it's a good good way of looking out for our future, and I really feel that we're going good with it and stuff. Also the RCMP meeting I had attended last week, and I had put I'm starting to use the shared notes a little bit more because I like doing them when I get home, for the simple reason it's all fresh in my mind, and so I don't have to try to think of all the different things that happened, and I encourage other people to do it. Plus on Tuesday was wastewater. Wednesday. And I was asked to attend in Al's place, and Karen was asked to attend in Stan's place. My question to you is, why didn't you come?
I tried to get online. I was waiting to be accepted. I talked to Stan. So Stan knew that I was trying to get on. I thought he was on so he could tell somebody to let me in on the meeting, and I didn't hear anything back. Tried to phone, nothing. So
Because it's imperative that we have 3 on there, and I again, if you can't get in, there should be some kind of a recall that you should be able to phone somebody and find out, because again, it's a $20 million project.
Well, I ended up sending an email to Taya and everything else, trying to get a hold of her. So what more could I do?
Guess we should find out, get Taya's number then or something, because again, it's I'm that it's like I say, it's $20 million project, and it's an important one. So
I wonder if there was some issues maybe with that email address. Still, I mean, I didn't get the package. I had to get it from Tim because it went into quarantine. So maybe that's what happened.
So I'll just remind everybody, if you do get a quarantined email and it's from Taya, press request release. And we're dealing with Cornell and NGIT. So hopefully they'll respond. In your situation, they didn't. I don't know. Did you press request release? But it was released.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But mine didn't get released till the next day.
Yeah, I know.
So, but I reached out to Tim and he provided it to me. So,
okay. So yeah, if you do see that, press request release. If you're not getting it in a timely fashion, please get a hold of us so we can deal with NGIT.
Yeah. And that's starting September 1st, right?
No, NGIT is until the end of August. Lexcom will be taking over September
1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going into camera afterwards, or we're not going?
No, we decided we would wait until
everything goes through.
The final report comes out.
The final report. Okay, good.
Anybody else? Planning and development, the 2 issues that we had were dealt with today. Hydrovac and the rezoning for Carl's containers. So that's it for committee reports. Council roundtable. Carmen.
I don't have anything.
You don't have anything. Nicole.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give an update. Al had asked me to give an update on the event that we're bringing forward for the Southeast Sport, Culture and Recreation District. So we have the date for White City for October 25th. And This is going to be facilitated. It's a one-day training opportunity for onboarding of boards. So there's some of the topics will be legal responsibilities of board members, best practices for effective governance, how to use Robert's rules with hands-on, and tools to make meetings matter and to make meetings more enjoyable. So you can sign up, and it's $25. It's from 9 to 4. Lunch is included, and this is open to anyone, the whole entire RM, all the community. So we'll get that shared out with all the social media. And there is limited spaces. So if you do want to attend, I would sign up as soon as you can. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but lunch is included, and it's $25. So very reasonable. I'm sure it'll be a very valuable day.
And who's putting this on, Nicole?
It is the Southeast Sport, Culture and Recreation. So they reached out to me because I had put on some events with them in the past.
Like the person.
Oh, her name is Wendy Pladowski. Yeah, she's the facilitator. And also, so last fall, I think it was last fall. No, it was in the spring, actually. I had brought them in and in the community, and it was basically an event for people to learn how they could apply for grants. So we'll also be doing another event this fall, which I'll know more information at the next meeting, September 9th meeting. We are going to have another event, and that's going to teach people how to properly grant write and how to apply for grants and all that kind of good stuff. Great for nonprofits, great for organizations to just kind of just ramp up their skills more effectively.
Anything else? Nothing. Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything other than Tim and I attended the wastewater meeting, and that's really all I have from my area. Stephen.
No, I'm good. I don't have anything.
Tim?
Yeah, September 11th, EMO training event is coming up at the RM office here. I actually reached out to 5 different media outlets to see if anyone was interested in covering, and I've had response from 2.
Okay.
So sounds like Global TV is going to come out anyways, and it's a good news type story. And again, I probably said it before that our regional EMO that we've got is probably one of maybe 3 in the whole province. So we're actually doing pretty good. I know at different EMO training things that we've gone to the conventions and stuff. A lot of people come up and ask us how we're doing, and they want to join ours right away. Well, no, we're not looking at start your own, and so we're pretty lucky because some of the people that we have on our committees facilitate a lot of things, and it's like Doug Lapchuk is a wealth of knowledge there, and there's quite a few that show us the proper way to do things, and because again, this is kind of new to me. I got introduced to it probably, I don't know, 5-7 years ago, but again, I never knew a lot of this stuff and the courses and stuff that we've taken, and it is an eye opener, and eventually it will be needed. So no, it's again, so yeah, it's kind of nice that that we got a couple of the media coming out anyways, and because of the September 11th date, we thought that would be a good time for them to kind of showcase this a little bit. So yeah. And that's pretty what.
That's it. Darren?
No, I don't have anything.
Nothing. Okay. Anybody have anything else? Motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor? Motion is carried.